fears are going to be answered finally, or presented and put in the forefront.
Right.
And that's what we need to do in order to get change, is to vote somebody like myself in there.
We need it because here's the thing. I hope that mine and Leigh's our campaigns this cycle, when we win, inspire other people to do the same. In 2026, there will be the Fair Elections Act where they will start the government will start matching funds from people who just really have grassroots campaigns as myself. I pray that I wish I would have had that this time.
Now, right?
Because it still takes money to do, and so I think not to spin the conversation, but when we talk about allocating money, you say in the first 100 days, and we talk about schools. I know Leigh's big on this. I'm big on this. I think the health of our children is primary too within those schools, and I want to work with our partners in Annapolis to get a new procurement door for healthier food in the school. Right. Not that I can't make my daughter's lunch, but there's some people who can't afford to do that. And when our daughter comes home from school and I say, eat school lunch today, she come home, I ain't eat that, I'm hungry. Because it's piss poor.
It is.
Disgusting.
And it's sad. And this is what we feeding our children. And she goes to Woodmore Elementary School, and Woodmore, if is a neighborhood of millionaires and multimillionaires, but their public school is feeding these children this I'm next to garbage. Like it's not cool. It's just not cool at all. And they should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, you would never think, knowing and seeing the houses in Woodmore, you would never believe what Woodmore Elementary looks like, because it looks like it's a 1970 school. It's bad because my son went there and I took him out because of a lot of things, and that's again why I'm such an advocate for children, because it's like these teachers have unions and they got people fighting for them, but we don't have anybody fighting for these kids. And so I want to be an advocate for these kids, and that's again another reason why I'm running. And going back to the food, I in 2017 I coached Bladensburg High School, and that was the same thing, their football team. Right. And after school, we're expecting these kids, because they didn't eat lunch, and they showed me the lunch, how bad it is, and all through the day they didn't eat. And then I'm asking them to give their all in practice after they didn't eat nothing all day. Like, so how do you expect them, one, to perform in the classroom, and then next do an extracurricular activity when they ain't had a decent meal all day? And it's just crazy. And we don't have people fighting for these kids. And I want to be right on no level, and I want to be the advocate. I want to be the leader that's fighting for these kids, because if they ain't gonna have a union, well, they gonna have a leader in the Prince George's County executive that's gonna fight for them every single day of the week.
And that's wonderful to know. I know, like, during the pandemic, my grandkids spent like 2 years out of school. Like the first 2 years of the pandemic, they were out of school. They had to do the virtual learning, and they just went back this school year, right? I had to call the Child Protective Services on the school. Okay, because now let me tell you, because we don't know that we can do those.
They'll do it on us real quick.
We don't know we can do that. Nobody knew that. I had parents all over the goddamn county calling the Child Protective Services on the school board and stuff, because our kids wasn't able to log in. Our kids, they wasn't caring. They'll tell us, well, so-and-so, all this mess. I'm telling you, I made the first one. My son, he's at work trying to work. I gotta go get the kids and everything after school and all of this shit, and dealing with this thing, this virtual learning, don't know how to get on, and the kids, they got their passwords and stuff, they know how to get on, but they can't get on. And so I called the school, and you gonna tell me, well, the technician ain't here, but if my kids was supposed to come in there, y'all, and they don't come, the first thing you're going to do is send the Child Protective Services to my house. Right. I don't think so.
Exactly.
I don't think so.
Right.
They did that to me during the first year of the pandemic.
Yeah.
My daughter couldn't log in. She was having trouble. I logged her in. Somehow she got logged out. She finally got logged back in. I go around the corner to my car while she's sitting there with the teacher. The teacher asks her, well, where's your dad? He not here. Now, she not saying, oh, my dad just ran to the car real quick.
Right.
I come back. They logged off for break. I'm thinking nothing of it. A week later, I got CPS at my door talking about I done abandoned my child in the house by herself. I said, are y'all out your mind?
Right.
Sometimes it seems like a setup, man. You know what I'm saying?
It is.
Because
they don't know when to come and when not to.
yeah, and the thing is, like you said, and most people don't know that they have the power to do that. But then
Right.
the thing is, are they going to get in trouble though? You know what I mean? How is the school system going to get in trouble? Because you know, I fought and did certain things to the school system and to the schools, but I mean, nothing really happens. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, yes, you can complain, but that's my point again. Going back to that's why you got to have a leader that is going to hold these people accountable, right? Because we can call the child services, but is anything going to be done? But when you have a leader that is on the people's side, something's going to be done to, you know, if the people are calling child
I have a voice.
services.
So when I called the Child Protective Services, like 2.5 seconds, they was calling the school, and the school was calling me, telling me, you know, like in shock. Okay,
Right.
yeah, I know my rights, ma'am, lady, ma'am, I know my rights, and y'all would have them at my son's door. Because he's at work right now trying to earn, because he got to catch up with the rent and all of this
Absolutely.
shit, because he was out of work for a whole year
Right.
and everything else. And y'all think y'all going, no.
Right.
He's not going to come home and have to
When you-
deal with this. And y'all don't want his mother to deal with this shit. Because I know these people, I have them on speed dial and everything else, because I'm always up in this shit.
Good.
You are much appreciated.
Right, and we need more people like
We need
that.
more people like that. We need people like that in office. And, you know, I say for myself, they always say, how you going to get things done? I say, because I'm not going to get off their back. If that's a school board member's job, I'm
You better say it.
What
better
district
say
school
it.
board? Let me call that person.
You better
Excuse
say
me,
it.
you don't want to answer my calls? I will pull up and see
Exactly.
if we can have this adult professional discussion about
Right.
why you're not doing your job.
Right.
Or even the county executive. You know, there are things that are only in the power of the executive. See, as a councilman, we are in charge of the budget, the Department of Health, and zoning practices. So it's only but so much I can do, but I can always advocate. And when I tell you, when I'm in office, my constituent services is going to be off the chain, because we're going to be outside
Yes.
all the time.
Yes. I love that. I love the candidates that are very approachable. You know, like I said, when I reached out to your campaign manager, he was the bomb. He got right back with me. Next thing I know, we was getting you together. You know what I'm saying? He was sending the pictures, and then the next thing you know, he said, I'm gonna reach out to Leigh. We're gonna get him. Yeah. You know, because like I said, I've been doing this since 2016. I interviewed Ben Jealous. I gave him an interview. I gave him his first interview. Angela also Brooks. I done had her in my studio too when she was running for county executive. Understand that, okay? It's nobody that has not been up in this, you know, not this particular studio. This is my third one. And so every cycle, every election, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We doing these type of things, you know? And
I wanted to say, because you did bring up a number, like you said, you know, 300,000 listeners. That's the number, that number of Democratic voters that didn't vote last election, gubernatorial election. And so that's the way I feel like I'm going to be able to win is if, you know, and I'm not saying all 300,000 going to go. I hope they do.
We need to hear you. We need to hear you. We need to know what's out there.
Exactly. But if we get those people to come and vote, ain't no way I can lose. You know what I mean? If they vote for somebody that's real and somebody that's for the people, and if they understand what I'm saying and they feeling the same pain I'm feeling, because again, I'm not a politician. I'm a person. I'm a human being. I'm a citizen first.
We don't need no politicians.
We don't need no politicians. No, Angela Davis said it a long time ago. We need unemployed politicians.
We don't want it.
Yeah, we don't want it because what have they done?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what they keep telling me. Like, okay, Leigh, what do you know about politics? I don't need to know about.
We need people with compassion.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we need. Yeah,
that's right. And that is out here and understand what's going on.
That's all.
And guess what?
But driven by it.
Yeah, and driven by it. Exactly.
And that's all you want is what the people want and what the people need. And when you are driven by that, those are the leaders that we need, right? Those are leaders that we need. And it's that old way is done, right? It's got to be done, because how many times do you want to complain? How many times do you want to march? How many times do you want to, have these conversations? I'm tired of having these conversations. I'm tired of all of these things.
Yeah, the pat banging. I call it the pat banging.
Yeah,
because we out there banging pats and everybody, because to be honest with you, that whole group, everybody ain't out there for the same thing.
No.
And we all screaming some shit, and they're not hearing
They ain't
nothing
hearing
that we
it.
saying.
Right.
So
the
Go ahead.
pots and pans need to be in the political rooms.
Yeah.
And they don't want that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why we need people like myself and Rudy to be in these rooms, because them pots and pans is going to be hitting in the rooms.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to hear it.
All
You know
right.
what I mean?
All right, gentlemen, both of you. You got listeners out there right now who's hearing every word you say. You don't have a voter's registration card and has never voted before. Talk to them. Tell them that they matter. I want to hear you tell them that this is what's important.
Yeah.
And this is how change gets made.
This is the only way change can get made, because I think what they've done to us is they've made us feel so insignificant, right? That it's like, and they've done it over and over again. They'll get in a seat and then talk what they're going to do, and then we'll vote for them, and then they don't do nothing. And it happens again 4 years. So it's like, okay, we tired of voting. We not voting no more. But the thing is, again, and I'm not going to register. Why? Because it's going to be the same old thing. But like I said, I'm not the same old politician, right? I'm not coming up in that system. I haven't come up in that system. I am a citizen. I have the same complaints and concerns that you have.
That's right.
And my voice is going to be heard just through me. You're going to be talking in them political rooms. And that's why it's so important for you to go vote this election, because your voice will be heard. I promise you. I'm not all talk. And lastly, again, I bring up me playing football for a reason, because you can't talk your way into playing football.
Right.
You just got to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just a doer. Right.
Right.
And showing what you got. I don't got much to say. Right. My actions going to speak louder than my words. And that's who I am. And I'm going to bring that in any realm that I go to. And that's this political realm as well.
Yeah. No, what I was saying, yes, it's imperative that you register to vote, because right now, we can't do all these things by ourselves. Me as a lone councilman can't do this without a proper county executive, without judges like Malik Shakur, without, House of Delegates members like Richard Elliott and Latasha Ward, and sheriffs like Dave Grogan, and the municipality leaders like Anthony Tillman out in District Heights. We need to elect all these people so that this flows well. Because if you don't register to vote and you ignore it and just go blah, well, that's what's going to happen. You're going to get blah.
The same old. Yeah, you're going to get the same old.
Yeah.
Register to vote. It's a lot of young people go, free my man this, free my man that. I said, but you didn't go vote for the last judge, and now we got a racist judge up in there that just gave your man, endless years because you didn't bother to vote last term.
Right.
These midterms matter way more than the president. You can hate Biden all you want to. You can hate Trump all you want to, but if you don't know who your county exec and your county councilman or your city councilman and all those people are, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes,
We got to fight that first. So if you're not registered to vote, go on Maryland Board of Elections. Maryland is one of those places you can still same day vote. You go on my website, you get one of my cards, you scan the QR code right
Absolutely,
there.
mine too.
Go register to vote. July 19th is the primary.
There you go.
So we got to get this stuff done.
There you go.
We got to, because let's be clear, 2024 is a year that we all kind of nervous to see. So we got to take care of home right now.
Right.
And how many years from one voting cycle to the next? Do y'all really want to wait, 2, 3,
Right.
4 years?
For the same old.
Right.
For the same old stuff.
Make
I mean,
a difference now.
now, because that's all we got.
That's
Again,
what I'm
and
talking
people were talking about, Leigh, well, you should have ran 4 years from now. For what? To get the same 4 years that I had, and my kids gonna get the same 4 years, and the citizens gonna get the same 4 years? No, like it's today, it's now, and that's the reason why I put my name in this race. And like Rudy just spoke about, these is running your everyday lives. Local politicians run your everyday life. Not Biden and Trump and Obama, all these people. That's the president. Local elections are important. Like you said, free my man. That T-shirt ain't gonna get him out.
Right.
You know what I mean? That judge gonna get him out, or be favorable to him. And so we need people that are going to advocate for the people, essentially.
Y'all, we going to take a quick break, and then we going to be back for round 2 of this, because we still got some stuff to talk about, okay? And I'm going to take y'all, I'm going to keep y'all in here as long as I can have, okay?
Sing it, representing, all right? Keep the music pumping and blazing. Fire.
Tell you that black girls rock. Gain knowledge around the clock, reaching goals is non-stop. We grinding to get it, we doing this every day. No matter the circumstances, won't let it get in the way. They say we got style and grace worthy to mimic. My girls making history during the pandemic. Perseverance, put a smile on your face. Don't show no shame, we will forever rock. Always changing the game. You do what you do, like ain't nothing to it. Your cool confidence got you rocking through it. Yeah. You got what it takes. Ain't no way you can stop doing the do. Got you rocking. Yeah. From the bottom to the top. Ooh, ooh, you are at heart. Can't begin to put on the shelf. Mother love of all creation. Rock on with your bad self. Rock on with your bad self. Baby, you rock. Mother love of all creation. Rock with your bad self. Oh, my black sister, rock, yeah. So rock on with your bad self. Lady, you rock. Sisters, you rock. Black girls rock. Black girls rock. Black girls rock. So rock on with your bad self. Black girls rock. Black girls rock. Black girls rock, yeah. Rock, yeah. Rock, oh, eh. Rock, yeah. Rock, oh. Rock, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rock, yeah. Rock, you rock, you rock, yeah.
BlazinRadio.com. Blazing the hottest reggae, soca, dancehall, Afrobeat, and hip-hop 24/7 worldwide.
Uneasy lies the head that rolls. So while some await Christmas, we both clappers. I meditate, read psalms and feed chakras. Do what life requires. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Jah, give me strength, whoa. Because me have to find rent, yeah. See my granny say she a ball there. Police kick our stall way. Them run and say we dead. Imagine a bakery without bread, so where is the poor man chance when them build a system fi stop dance? So I will fight in this revolution. Black man, let's rise and find a solution. Jah will never give the strength to ballad. Babylon can't see Rasta, you dead. Jah will never give the power to you to come and mislead these people. One species, tell the Pope and the pastor, put away petty difference, equality we ask for. Segregation a cause a disaster. It build the crime rate, it a build the gangsters. It's a fear all them false leaders. Right now the system no need ya. We need some spiritual ranks. And students, remind them say judge and never run the wire fence. And I will fight in this revolution. Black man, let's rise and find a solution. Jah will never give the strength to ballad. Babylon can't see Rasta, you dead. Jah will never give the power to you to come and mislead these people. I tell you, say, summer white Christmas, we must clappers. I meditate 3 times and feed chakras. I do what life requires. I go around, I know roam and no test run, no trials, no. Vibrant come for certain strength. Vibrant come for elevate. Judge me walk with a room. Cleanliness down from a room. So I will fight in this revolution. Black man, let's rise and find a solution. Jah will never give the strength to ballad. Babylon can't see Rasta, you dead. Jah will never give the power to you to come and mislead these people. Stop till the battle is won and we get justice. Cause if you lose your stand, anyone will try to push you over and over. Lift up your head and hold it up high. We know that we'll win.
Y'all, we are back. We are back. That was a very interesting conversation. Like, I'm telling y'all, I got y'all. For real. I'm serious. I love everything that y'all stand for. Everything. Let's talk about this crime. Okay, DC, I'm an advocate. DC, I just did a big news interview on Channel 7 speaking on the rise of crime. Okay, we are up 28% in DC, which is trickling over in Prince George's County because it's basically you can walk across the street and you're there in DC. So I am feeling the crunch because we have a lot of crime mothers and stuff out here as well. What is y'all take on the crime? And I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Bodden.
I believe, again, just like anybody else, like a mother or a parent, you want it to change, and I feel like it goes back to, in my opinion, it's education, it's their skills. It's what they feel like they can be good at, what they can be involved in. And if you don't have anything that they can be involved in and they're excited about, they're going to find it elsewhere.
Right.
And if they don't find it in the classroom, if they're upset there and that's where they spend most of their time and they're getting shunned there and the proper resources aren't there.
What is your plans for combating crime?
And so, and that's the thing. It's just programs, right? I feel like it's programs, and it's keeping them into things that they probably never knew that they liked, right? And to futuristic programs that's going to help them, get jobs and sustain a life that they can live here in the county, because if again kids don't feel like they have any hope, they gonna turn to something else. You know what I mean? And so, and money is the driver of everything, because it's like, how do I get paid? You know what I mean? That's really what they trying to do. How do I get paid? But if we ain't showing them how to get paid and giving them no skills, then they gonna take the easy way out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then that turns into crime. And so, to me, combating that, again, it's education, it's programs, it's filling these kids' times. Again, I bring football, always in the fold, because this is one thing that they try to do with adults. They try to spend or make us spend so much time at the facility, right, doing all the things that we need to do so we don't get in trouble outside of the facility. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same kind of concept. Fill their time with something that they can enjoy, and try to find out different things what these kids like, because again, school ain't necessarily for everybody.
Right. And
so you got to find different things that's these different kids, is different demographics. You have to understand who your audience is. You have to understand who these kids are and what they do like. One other thing, I was in Capitol Heights, I believe, and I was in a barbershop talking to some older gentlemen. They were like, man, we got to do something about these kids on these bikes all the time. And I said, man, these white neighborhoods got parks for them. You know what I mean? And that's why in the X Games, right? X Games, they getting paid millions. These white people getting paid millions of dollars. Our black people could do that too. Right. So build them a park or something like that to be able to not be on the streets and be out there riding, doing tricks, and they gonna stay out the way.
A couple of years ago, they got a $2 million skate rink.
Exactly. And
21 million.
20, yeah. So you better talk about
right. And so but those are the type of things that our people need, right, to get us out of trouble. And listen, I was at the gas station with some dudes on the bikes and 4-wheelers, and they told me the exact same thing. I'm handing out my literature. They was like, man, we need some parks, man. That's gonna keep us out of trouble and keep us off the street. They telling me this. You know what I'm saying? So if they know, I know. Put the money into them. Invest in our kids to be able to go and represent us in the X Games. Prince George's County. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because we have so many athletes and entertainers from here, right? We can get them in the X Games and doing all these tricks and bikes. You know what I mean? And on ESPN and everywhere else.
All of that sounds like money trickling down. And then when I look at what's going on now, look at all the different dynamics that we're dealing with the pandemic and just the school shootings, you name it. It's what's realistic that we can expect, that we can give our children. Can we give them a playground? Can we give them a swing? What's real? What can we look at and see? When I drive through poor black communities, I don't even see grass. And I'm a country girl, and that just breaks my heart.
Mr. Anthony, what's your take on this?
Concrete everywhere.
So yeah, it's a multifaceted issue. You can't, you have the police force is pretty responsive. Like we had carjackings going up. What you got to do, like you said, I was in the Marine Corps. They did the same thing to us. Have your time occupied. There's no reason parking planning with a surplus budget can't be looking into giving us things that we want, like a dirt bike park. See, the problem is, and on one of my platform statements, is government improvement. Here's an example of government improvement. People who've been there too long, who have failed to enforce these programs, because it's outreach. I met a woman one time, I think it was a festival in Bowie. She said she worked in the workforce development program, something in conjunction with the courthouse with, at-risk youth. And she said, these kids just don't want to do nothing. I said, no. You been there how long? She said 15 years. I said, then you're the problem at this point.
Okay.
Right. You better speak. You better speak.
I said, and you know, thank you for considering voting for me. I don't actually don't want your vote because you have a defeatist mindset, and I think our government sometimes can have a defeatist mindset.
Yeah.
So not only do we improve the schools, we improve the programs, and we make outreach, and we actually talk to these kids and these young adults and talk about what they want. The other thing is when you talk about young adults, the 18 to 25-year-olds who getting in most of this trouble, honestly, pay them a living wage. Rent in the county is high as hell. How you think somebody supposed to pay rent, eat, get to work, get home, maybe raise a kid off of $15 an hour? They cannot. So that's why I say with our partners in Annapolis, we have to address that issue if you want to get rid of crime. One of my opponents suggests gentrification as a way to solve. Talk about if we build more nice townhouses like we have here, it'll be less crime.
You mentioned that word, and it just it made, I don't even have hairs on my back, but some just came on there.
Everybody think gentrification is a DC problem. No, they are trying to make it a Prince George's County problem too. Like, look at Homer Avenue. Now, don't get me wrong. I know how Homer Avenue and Suitland used to be back in the day. I grew up on that side of town.
And that's because they don't put no money into it.
But they don't put no money into it. It create food deserts. There are no programs, no fields for the football teams to play. No, you know, no job opportunities. I mean, thank God there's a Suitland station now, but once upon a time it wasn't. And then the fares on transit go up. At least PG can subsidize transit for you know, for certain demographics of people, so they can get around and get back and forth to work. And then the other thing is they building up. We have all these metro stations. Over the few years, we got all these metro stations. They need to be placing businesses and allowing small-owned local businesses to get these spots next to these metro stations to create some type of revenue in the area. And that's how we get rid of crime. You know, and if you want to bring big businesses, that goes to another point. I'm big on climate.
And they need to be taken, taxes need to be taken from them, because like we said, when you were saying at the beginning of this interview, Prince George's County pays the highest in everything. Water, gas, electric, all of that shit.
Right.
Okay? What do you see as the change in that? What can you do in your mind would make that situation better, where they would stop charging us so many taxes, and who you think they need to go after as far as these, you know, businesses? Because a lot of the small businesses are being hit more than
right. And so me again, I'm not big into policies and, you know, all these things, but in my mind, like you said, I think big businesses need to take a bigger hit because they are making the most money. And you know, when we talk about wages, if we are raising wages, it's difficult to raise the wages on the small businesses if we ain't getting, you know, the customers that we need to be able to pay those things. So I think big businesses need to be able to pay some of those taxes and you know, fund a lot of these issues that we do have. Or again, it's just allocating the money as a Prince George's County executive, allocating the money to the necessary places where you know, we can alleviate some of these, you know, issues or money problems that we have until you kind of figure out a way. You understand what I'm saying? But but I don't think that, and I'm not in these rooms, but I don't think that they have a different way of looking at things. They just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and just because it works for them, you know. But it's like sometimes you have to do something different and then figure out, okay, well, here's what we need to change. Here's what we need to take away. Here's, you know what I mean? You just figure it out. But in order to do that, you have to do something different. And and that's just what I will bring is a different voice. And again, having people like Rudy and Richard Elliott and Carl Parker, like these people that know, you know, these policies and politics even more than me, you know, we can, you know, talk about these things, right? Exactly, together and help me, right, understand and, you know, come up with a plan that would be beneficial for, you know, those people. And those are the newer waves of, you know, thinkers that we need in politics.
We need more people that we need to build coalitions.
Exactly.
More than, you know, teams and all of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? We need to, because in a coalition, everybody knows something, and we bring it together.
And that's what a team is. Again, that's why I always bring up football.
Yeah.
I played with Tom Brady. He can't block. You know, he can't catch the football. He need other people, right, to do that, right? And that's what makes a winning team. Is I'm good at this, and then you're good at this, and you're good at that. You build a team that can, you know, help
come
together, right, and work. And that's not to say that, you know, it's going to be perfect, right? But you always have to try something new to get a hold of. Okay, you know, here's what we did wrong. Here's how we can, you know, fix this. Here's, you know, where we can, you know, put more here, put less here, and again, it's having no fear to do something different and then learning from exactly what you did, right? And a lot of times they don't want to take ownership. You know, these politicians, right? They sweep it under the rug. They act like, you know, what they did was good when it wasn't. You know what I mean? And you just gotta own it. You gotta say, hey, listen, you know what? That wasn't, you know, what we needed. But here's how we gonna fix it. You know what I mean? And just be transparent with everybody.
You crime.
So. Again, I see how crime is. This is one of the biggest.
And
parts.
to know that it is really spiked in the violent offenders are under the age of 25.
We need mental health resources.
You better.
The pandemic showed me one thing: it drove everybody up a wall, including myself. It was stressful. It's left people not knowing what to do, where to go. I mean, I understand it was a new problem for everybody, but there's no reason that our government shouldn't have got together and really made common sense of it all. Instead of, it's almost like our government is for profit instead of being for people. I think there should be mental health clinicians in the schools.
You better.
The young kids need it first. So when they turn 18, they not losing their mind and going out here doing whatever. And again, having the opportunities, having a pathway to making a decent wage so they can live, so they don't have to be out here doing, you know, out here, because people always say, where does crime stem from? People just want to be bad. No, people need things. They are in need. They are hungry. They are starving. Or they, you know, they want to be able to sustain themselves in our society. And again, for us to live in such an affluent place, that number ain't no low number.
Right.
And
you know,
there's the other kind of crime, like the young man who just wanted to kill black people. Okay, that ain't had nothing to do with him being hungry. So, you know, we got a little bit in every direction. But how do, like you said, mental illness, okay, yeah, we need to definitely deal with people with mental illness, but we talk about it, but what's really being done? And how do we get there? How do we deal with that? I remember when somehow the U.S. government decided to close down institutions with the mentally ill in and put them all on streets and tents. And then when they didn't know what else to do, they kind of just pushed them around. You can't be here, you can't be there, you can't be
like
anywhere.
What's going on in D.C.
Right
now. You know, it's going on in D.C. And like I said, you know, I'm going back to, you know, the gentrifying. Okay, well, guess what? And since 2001, since the beginning of gentrifying, there has been a displacement of over 20,000 black people from out of the DMV area. Okay? We are the ones that's being hit. When it comes, our communities are the ones that are being torn down and taken away from us. Look, I grew up in Southeast Bury Farms, born and raised there, 1259 Stevens Road, Southeast. Okay, to go down there, a couple of weeks ago, I had to start with the pilot of this second documentary, and they wanted to take me back to where I live, where I grew up at. And it's not there. I couldn't even stand there we rolled down there, and it had slipped my mind. It slipped my mind that it's gone. You know what I'm saying? It's gone. And so I went there with a whole damn film crew, and I was sick to the stomach. I cried like a baby out there. I couldn't even do anything because it just all hit me that this is my home. I'm a prodigy. Me right here, I come from that. I come from the mud.
And
I just want to say, you know, the mental, it's a lot, right? And so it's hard to carry on when no one loves you, right? And so when the government is showing, schools is showing, again, these kids and these people, you displacing me and you showing me that you don't love me. Again, if the streets gonna love me, then that's what I'm gonna go to. That's what I'm gonna turn to. And that's what I'm saying. We gotta start showing that we love, you know, our people.
You know,
and stop
black on black crime. Don't get me started. And police brutality. I want to throw that one in the bucket.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because we ain't just all dying because we having a hard time and we can't afford a can of toilet paper.
And that's what I wanted to get to, right?
It's the truth.
Stuff going on.
Yeah,
right.
There is a lot of stuff going on, Auntie, but at the same time, it's us killing us.
Right. But
I'm the person that deals with this shit on a daily. So the police killing us, but it's more of us killing us.
Right, and it's because in my estimation, like if don't nobody if they don't respect you, right, then it's like I don't have respect for myself and I don't have respect for my peers. But because what I'm saying is, listen to what I'm saying. If they're telling me, the powers that be, the government, if they don't respect you, well then I'm just like you, so I ain't gonna respect you either. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like it's a trickle down, and obviously when crime is crime, right? So I'm gonna commit the crime to the person next to me, right? And that's just how crime goes, right? In white neighborhoods, they commit crimes. When they rob houses, they rob themselves, right? And so the thing that I believe is that if the powers that be respect you, me, then I'm gonna respect you and me. You get what I'm saying? And then now, and like I said, now it's hard to carry on when no one loves you, but then you got to learn to love yourself. And so I'm saying, if they feel like you ain't nothing, right, then you feel like you ain't nothing. You get what I'm saying? And so we got to start, you know, empowering our people and our kids and our children. And, you know, yoga seems crazy, right? But, you know, being centered and knowing who you are, right, and knowing who you are, and then having that environment, that's what I believe, you know, we need. We just gotta, because like you said, these police are the same police that went through the same school systems. You know what I mean? The same system, right, that probably beat them down, right? And now they got some power that they can beat somebody else down. You know what I'm saying? And so if we understand and get, you know, people to love one another, and if we get the people in power to show some respect for, you know, our people, then we'll respect ourselves as well, right? Because listen,
you know, it would help if the people in power, instead of putting $1 million ads on TV about how great I am and what I did that you didn't do and you're not great. Okay, how about some love everybody ads? And that's, we don't see that.
You don't see it.
I want to see more black people on TV looking positive, being positive, and I do see a change in it. But I need to see more of it.
Right.
Every time I turn it on when somebody's doing good, it's a bunch of white people. But I see them doing bad too. I don't see that.
Exactly.
And I want to see black people. We are out here. Look at what we are doing right now in this room. If this ain't love, I don't know what is.
And that's the point too, is they want to show us hurting each other. We do so much good with each other, but we don't never see it. And so we always see that, you know, we hurting each other. And yes, we do, right? But it's like, give us some more images, some different images of who we are.
What is your plan? What plans do you have to bring revenue to the county to affordable new programs? See,
that's a great question. And again, one, I'm not a politician, but the only thing that I know is get federal money, federal grants, state grants, and obviously that's where the taxes go. So we have the money, right?
A lot of the money is there,
but then it's where you allocating it, right? It's sometimes some programs, or not programs, but some services or departments, they got to take a little less, right? And it's just finagling the budget to make it where you need it the most, right? Somebody has to take a back seat. You know what I'm saying? Somebody does. Nobody really wants to.
Do you have any influence over who allocates and how it's allocated?
Yeah, that's what the county executive does. They So to that question, to be honest, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know, you know, how to get the revenue, right? But I know from those federal grants, state grants, like you get them, and every year, you know, money is comes to this county. And yeah, Rudy, and that's why I got somebody on my team that will do that.
Who decides that the
Okay,
So-
come on, Mr. Anthony.
So he's going.
decides
My
that,
county
you know.
executive.
Yeah.
My county executive makes the budget. A lot of that money from the federal government and is held there in Annapolis by the governor, right?
Right.
He would fight for write up what he want, and we have to get that from Annapolis. Annapolis has to allocate us certain things. Another problem that Prince George's County uniquely has, for whatever reason, let's be clear, that we don't get to tax things the way we want to. We could write a bill
we
and
don't.
create tax,
No.
but we got to get Annapolis's approval to impose it on things. So I want to kind of fight to change that. I want to definitely advocate to change that. We are big boys and girls here in this county. We should be able to tax things the way we want to. One of the revenue ideas I got, and this me being a tech nerd, is if you see in Loudoun County and Fairfax County, they bringing a whole bunch of data centers over there. We could impose a tech tax, and that could fund pretty much anything we want. These billion-dollar Amazons and Microsofts and Azure AD cloud services, big warehouses full of servers, and we could tax that and pay for pretty much anything we want. And again, after I fight to change the way that we're allowed to tax here in the county. Now, some people may agree and think that might be a little dangerous depending on who's in power.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's our community. I don't think that somebody from way up at the Capitol should be telling us how to spend our money,
Right.
regardless.
And that's what he said. I mean, sometimes you got to go to other counties that are doing it right.
I mean, I could do this every Friday with y'all. I'm saying, go on, y'all, go on.
No. What I just said again, just what Rudy said. I mean, because you look at all these neighboring counties doing well, and it's like you don't reinvent the wheel. Me as a county executive, I would go and talk to those county executives, see what they doing right, see how we can improve and where we can improve, and it's just
We doing wrong.
right because it's something.
Because we got this damn perception that Prince George's County is the richest county in the state.
Exactly.
That's the perception that we have.
Okay.
And they say that because Prince George's County is majority black people. Okay, so that right there, and to say that shit, and to know that it's black people there, why would they throw us shit
Right.
when we got people screaming that? I had a politician, I ain't even gonna give no life to his name or shit, a couple of months ago in here. You know what I'm saying? Talking all this crazy shit, about, didn't even know half of the shit. And I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is why we're stuck.
All right.
This is why we stuck. That's why we stuck on stupid.
Yeah. Because
He couldn't answer none of the questions I gave him because my listening audience was ready to eat his ass up in here. Okay, because we tired. And here you come, you want to be our governor, sir? After you did all that?
Took some trash days away,
Like, seriously?
because I'm real mad
You
about
really want to be our governor. You really, yeah. And these are the questions right here. Okay? And he talked all around that. And
That's what politicians do.
Yeah. Those are the questions.
See, I'm not a politician, right? I'll tell you what I don't know, but then I'm gonna surround myself with people that do know, that can help me get to where he knows we want to be. You understand what I'm saying?
We need another way of thinking.
Exactly.
And it has to start from somewhere.
Right.
It's not going to, we have to create a new way of thinking.
And people are scared to create something
Yeah.
new because, again, it's the unknown, right?
Yeah,
and they're
we
scared to
have
fail. They're scared to fail.
Don't fight change. Lean into it.
How did the insurrection, January 6th situation, and I'm going back. I'm gonna start with you, Mr. Anthony.
all right.
How did you feel about that situation?
Honestly, I was not surprised. I mean, I was like scared, like, is this about to be it right now?
Yeah.
But I wasn't surprised because there's a certain group of people who just get away with literal murder.
And that's what I'm talking about.
It's upsetting because we do have
I'm about to get fever back here.
we have a big disinformation problem. People believe the craziest things, and it's really like you live in your own world, and I can't say there is no way to fight it because you gotta fight it.
Right.
But it's almost like, you know what? I'm a quote. I'm gonna sound crazy. I'm about to quote Hillary Clinton. The Black Lives Matter people came to her backstage, and I think this is the Hillary Clinton she should have showed. They said, well, what are you going to do to fight racism? She said, you can only change with so many hearts. You need to create laws and policies that stop them from messing up your livelihood and your well-being and your ability to develop.
Right.
Unfortunately, she's right. Racism is a entrenched generational thing that you just don't get rid of overnight. I ain't saying we don't fight it every day, but you can't say that all those.
The Constitution is racist.
Right. At the end of the day, if you and they are scared to admit that and say that. We really need a constitutional convention for real, but God knows that's just going to be a mess.
Yeah.
But we probably need it because look at where we are. We are black people in America are facing the same problems that my grandfather and great-grandfather and all those before us face on a different level, on a different scale, but it's still institutionalized racism.
It is most definitely.
That's why they say, we going to fix, we got the system is broken. No, the system working. I'm trying to go break it. And make it work for us.
Exactly. So what I want to say is because I got a different view on this, right? So, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the insurrection.
Insurrection, right? So I want to go in the Constitution. So I think, right, in my opinion, that we as black people just don't like take the Constitution as it is us, right? Because we were three.
It wasn't written for
But
us.
it wasn't. But we are Americans,
That's
though,
right.
and so we got to understand. We got to stand up just like they stand up.
That's
But
right.
we got to say, well, we American too, right? And stop thinking we 3/5 of a man, right?
Exactly.
And understand if you keep thinking you 3/5 of a man, they're gonna keep treating you like one. But if you treat yourself like you demand everything that's in that Constitution, then you know what? That's gonna happen. And I'm saying, just like you said, it's not going to change until, right, the politicians, right, show some respect to you. And if they don't never show any respect to you, then nothing's going to change. Absolutely. And that's why now we have to step into the realm of being in politics, but real people being in the politics, not these fake politicians. Because, again, I think the forefathers sat up here and wrote, listen, they didn't want war anymore. You get what I'm saying? Because that's how they got this country, right? They fought wars. Then they wrote in the Constitution, you know what, every 4 years, if you don't like what's going on, you can change it by running. You get what I'm saying? So, but we've never ran. But we have, and this is a history lesson, Colfax Massacre happened in Louisiana. The governor, right, the black governor, he was a Republican, he won, and they were in uproar, and then they killed him, right? And then it kind of went backwards, and, then they lost the election. So it's like kind of, we fear that, we can't be in these roles and we can't, again, step up and be a politician because we feel like, or they make us feel, again, so insignificant, like we ain't nothing, like we 3/5 of a man. You got to run. You got to act like you got privilege.
Take
like
that
them.
fear out your heart.
Right.
I mean, I maybe this the Marine in me, but the worst they could do is kill you.
But they can't kill, and the thing is, they can't kill everybody. And if it's just one of you, yeah, they can kill you. But if it's right, if the power of the people is there, then they can't kill everybody. And then if somebody, again, like myself, wins this race, right, it's going to get other people to run. So they can't. So now, what you going to kill all these people? You know what I mean? That right? You can't kill it, right? And so, and it's showing you the blueprint of here's how we have to do it. We have to have community leaders, just regular people, being in these positions. And if we don't, it's going to keep happening, right? And again, we going to still act like we 3/5 of a man. And when you stand up and act like you a man and you can go run the country and not be scared of making mistakes, because look how many mistakes they've done, right? And like Rudy said, what are they doing? They are not doing a great job for us. The system is the system. It's working for them. It ain't working for us. So again, it needs to be a balance of power, right? And so we need to be there.
Yeah, and not only that, it's like you said, it's we the people.
Right.
We the people need to start being more involved.
Yes.
Okay, because we're not. Yeah. All we do is goddamn complain all the time. We don't make no phone calls. We was telling people one phone call to those senators when outside was open. We used to go 4 times a month. We would hand deliver letters to all 100 senators. on concerns, and these was concerns from our listening audience. They would, write us and say, well, we got it, and these are people from all over the country, and we got a problem here. The senators is right there where y'all at. Me and Miss Angela, we would get up, get us an Uber, go down there to the Senate offices. We would start in the Russell and work all the way down until we put a letter in each of their hands, and then we follow it up with an email and a phone call. Them people, when we first, I cried like a baby when I first went and did something like that, because those people looked at us like we were fucking science projects, okay? Because it wasn't we didn't see black people. We saw black people working behind the desk, black people sweeping the damn hallways, floor and shining up the marble and shit. But we didn't see them down there like us with the concerns and going toe to toe, blow to blow. By the time I left out of that motherfucker, they knew about Relisha Rudd. They knew about all of the dead kids, the kids about everything. Okay, because they don't go no further than those TVs that's sitting in those offices. They don't know. We have to take it to them.
Right. And so here's my point. And that's great, because putting the pressure on them, right, they're going to know. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, if you got somebody that wants to be in the know of the people, you ain't got to do that no more.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? They going to come to you. And that's what representatives are supposed to do. You supposed to be representing me. I am giving you my power with my vote to represent me in politics. But you're not representing me. I got to now come and hunt you down to do what you said you was going to do or you need to do for the community. But see, when we have a leader that you don't need to go hunt him down, then that alleviates, what you have to do, in your life.
Senator Tim Kaine told me, he said one phone call is like 1,000 phone calls.
Right.
And shit, and two is going to be like 2,000. You know what I'm saying? And you keep going.
And it's just as simple as that.
Right.
That man told me that. He said one phone call is like 1,000.
And that's what we don't do, and white people do it all the time. They complain.
Yeah.
But they complain to the right people.
Yeah.
We complain on the couch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And in the barbershops. You know what I'm saying? We need to complain, right? Like you said, on the phone calls, in the emails. We need to complain there.
We used to start campaigns and have the listening audience, everybody call. Let's bum rush these goddamn phones. Let's blow these emails up. Let me tell you, I know that they changed the structure because of me and Miss Angela's ass going down there, because now it's like we can't go and see all of the senators. We have to go to the senators in our states. And we can reach out to the other ones, but it's up to them whether they want to see us or not. And that's how they changed the whole thing.
There's a problem with elitism in government.
Yeah.
It's another reason why I ran and didn't want to wait in line, because there is I'm not talking about nobody in particular, but there's an idea that you have to be up here and you have to make a certain amount of money and you have to be educated.
And you look cute in the dress and the suit and all of this other shit.
No. You got I'm a regular concerned citizen.
Yeah.
Granted, I am an example of what a Prince Georgian can be. But everybody deserves this change, not just so and so who went to Harvard or so and so who was somebody's godson who's been in there forever. Everybody deserves a shot.
It's based on compassion.
It's compassion and community. And people don't base it on community, so they go in here and they wear suits and they go to impress other politicians instead of being outside talking to the voters.
If they were out in the community, these politicians, if they were out in the communities for real, they would know the issues.
Exactly.
They're not out there.
And
so when we take it to them, and I'm not going to call some names, it's like, oh, I don't deal with this part. I deal with the legislation. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what did you
know who to call.
And will point me in the right direction there. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about and that's what they telling our constituents, DC, and I'm talking about DC right now. Okay? Where you calling out, you reaching out to the council member, and he's telling you, and he's supposed to be responsible for legislation. That's what I thought. You're making $140,000 a year, sir.
And we paying you. The people paying you.
Yeah. Okay. And you gonna tell some woman you got a constituents fund. We found out DC has the largest in constituents funds, Ward 8. Okay, that I'm talking about right now, this particular moment. Okay, they got the most inconspicuous funds, all the whole 9 yards. But when those people was over there taking baths outside at the fire hydrant because they didn't have no water in their goddamn apartment complexes, they could have used that constituous fund to fix the water problem or whatever. So. Or, you know, all of the shit that's going on over there. We got a drug problem. We got kids over there dying, and it's moving over here to the county. Mm-hmm. You know, y'all see all them fentanyl overdoses?
Yes.
You see that? They putting and we just had an issue with the edibles in the schools out here in Prince George's County.
I ain't hear about that.
Yeah, we just had an issue. We had a big issue in our schools out here where kids was sick as shit from eating those damn things.
And
yeah,
it's
because they're not coming from a licensed person. It's people making them in their house, and I think that, you know, as much as I'm an advocate for marijuana and recreational, I think there should still be some regulation on it
and some education on it as well.
Yeah.
For these young adults,
the same way they used to, you know, the DARE program used to come to school.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the same thing.
You could be nuanced. These kids ain't stupid. They know what it is. Hey, look, when you go up, this legal. This is how it should be. Drink responsibly.
I was about to say that. It's just responsibly.
Responsibly.
You know?
And the thing about it is with the marijuana situation, it's like it's loosely done. Okay, it's loosely done. When they said legalization of marijuana, baby, we took that and ran with it, honey. Okay, you see them out at the gas station with the scales, baby, and they right out there. They right out there, bitch. Okay, they out there in the middle of the gas. They got the scales. They got the big bag. They pulling it out, baby. They put it right there for you. You hear what I'm saying? Instead of I just my mother. No, we had went on. And I'm talking about because my mom, we went over to the Shell gas station right there at Southern Avenue by Eastover. And we trying to get gas, and the dude deployed. I'm not talking about that gas, but like not right now, sir. But I'm like, look, we trying to get. He like got the scale out. He got the shit. I'm like, oh God, why? Okay, why y'all doing this, sir? And I worked on the Initiative 71, trying to get people. That means we're trying to decriminalize
marijuana.
Yeah, make it, decriminalize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's a difference between legalization and decriminalizing.
Yep.
And that's what we did. We just took that. We thought that we can sell it here, there, at the grocery store, at the this, that, and the third. And so in D.C., they're trying to get it where you can be a grower. It would bring revenue to your own personal self.
Correct.
You know? And I believe that Maryland is going to be legalized and decriminalized for real.
That's what they
before any other because Virginia is moving towards. So I think we got a bigger chance of where do you see that money going at though? If they started taxing it and they start putting it in the bubblegum machines and all of that shit like they do in Colorado.
Yeah. Fixing our roads, bridges, and transportation subsidization.
That's the right answer.
But that's where the allocation. That's where that's when the person. But that's where the person that revenue coming in. It's now where do I allocate it, and that's all it is. Whatever money is coming into the county, the leader says where to allocate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's the places that's needed. That's really all it's about. And so it's finding ways to get revenue, and that's a way that if they pass those things, it can happen. We can have more revenue.
Yeah, we can have more.
Down at the office and some more bullshit. I mean, I remember a time when they got on politicians for paying $1,000 for a toilet seat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We really need. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to find the leaders who's going to do the right thing.
That's going to do
with
the right thing.
Money.
Yeah.
And I can't stress it enough. I got to just throw it in there one more time because I don't believe for one damn second that these politicians don't understand
what's going
that
on.
what's
Yes, they
good
do.
for one person is
Ain't
good for
him.
every
Right.
single fucking one of us.
Right.
And I don't believe that there's separate rules because I'm black and you white on how we supposed to live. And I don't believe that. I don't think so. And when you vote, you're getting rid of people with that damn
mindset,
attitude
right.
that is controlling the money.
Right.
And you better be listening good because that's exactly what's going on.
That's-
Embracing lies instead of truth.
Exactly.
We have had them stand in our faces and tell us that capital insurrection did not happen. Well, we all watched it unfold. How dare you?
It's because you scared. They scared to talk the truth.
Denying racism, denying police brutality. Are you for real?
Yeah.
And we are going to keep these assholes as long as you sit on your ass and feel like it ain't nothing.
100%.
Maryland.gov.
There is something
Go
you can do.
register.
It
Get
is.
off your ass
Yes,
and
please.
stop accepting this crap.
Exactly, and that's
You better speak.
that you got
You
to
better speak.
because
Yeah.
we
And that's
keep
what
accepting.
we got to do.
Yeah, we keep accepting the
Can't be
scraps.
complacent.
Yeah.
And
Can't.
yeah, like Prince George's County again. It's all the misconduct that goes on. Again, they acting like it doesn't happen. And Maryland passed a law, Anton's law, to have them disclose all these things that go on in the police department and misconduct. And PG County, Prince George's County, don't want to hear it. And it isn't abiding by that.
Exactly.
And so why? Because you know what's going on there. And so why we have leaders that's covering all this stuff up, right?
And you know what
We need
scares
better leaders that again have the balls to say something, right? And get new leadership in. I don't care if you my friend. I don't care if who you are. If you doing wrong, you're doing wrong by our people. We need people that's doing right for our people, by our people, and that's it.
And what difference does it make if we vote in leaders who don't have as much power? If the big ones, if you can't move them,
Exactly.
so it takes us all to do our part.
We all have
And
to do
it
our
has to be
part.
done
We
in
really do.
steps.
I tell people, because people think that the president has more power than he really does.
Right.
Right.
And he really doesn't. It's the Senate.
Right.
Understand that. And I tell y'all that all the time, listening audience, it's the Senate. Okay, so instead of, because they put big emphasis on the president, they throw him out there because they don't want you to pay attention to the Senate and to get their asses out, because get them straight and to even understand their job description.
And who they are.
Yeah, who they
And
are.
what they do.
Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah, we done got these people, some of them is laying in hospital beds and nursing homes and shit. Still, pushing, buttons
Old,
and shit.
yeah,
So
pushing
it's
old laws.
Yeah.
elder abuse at that point.
Yeah.
It don't make no sense.
Yeah.
To die out of office.
Yeah, to die out of office. Come on
and
now.
that kind of stuff needs to change.
Yeah, because they want the system and the plan to be what it was.
What it was.
And what is,
Look
you know
at
what I
the
mean?
Supreme Court, and you know what? We can, at Biden, you need to appoint more Supreme Court justices. There is no limit to how many we can have. You are not held back by anything.
Yes.
But you need to even the score or we going to drown.
Right, and it's
Now, God damn it, do you what you need to do.
and it's certain things that you have power over that you have to invoke that power
Exactly.
at times. You know what I mean? For the people that need it
And
the
know
most.
that people like us know
Mr.
that
Anthony,
you
you
got
sitting
that
over
kind
there.
of
You like this, I know you got some stuff to say. Go ahead.
I do, because there's so many things wrong up and down the board.
Baby.
First off, the Supreme Court needs term limits.
Oh my God.
The senators. First off, I honestly think that whole idea of 100 senators need to be restructured, because it's, for example, you got California gets 2, but then Wyoming gets 2 as well. So then you got a standstill because those 5 people who live in West Dakota get to outvote the millions of people that live in California. So I think the whole structure of what our government looks like is wrong. I also believe in ranked choice voting, meaning if I go and vote, I say this is my first choice, this is my second choice, this is my third choice. He do the opposite, and then we meet somewhere in the middle. That way ain't nobody upset about who got elected, because we all agreed upon something because of that. It's
And don't get me started about electoral.
Yeah, but that's the beauty of local election is really it's who votes. It's the popular vote. But again, like you talking about electoral college, I mean, it's not always in the presidency. It's not the popular vote.
And the parties, and this two-party system is destroying us too. And that's why we local elections are so important too, because y'all want to know who are the people who go into the convention who supports the people who on the big stage.
Exactly.
It's us.
It's y'all. Exactly.
100%.
Y'all don't want to see, great grandpa be the president no more. Elect us.
People, right? People like us, and then we'll start. And that's what I use the word. We infiltrate that system, right? And then now the system will start to shift and change, right? But it won't shift and change if we never vote anybody different in. Right. You get what I'm saying? If we vote us in that really cares about the people, then that locally, then it's going to start to trickle down and local, and then it start going to get to the Senate and maybe eventually the president. You know what I mean? And so obviously that's like years from now thinking, but if we follow that process and plan, right, it has to start somewhere, and it's going to start locally, right. And it will trickle to cities, states, right, and then again the presidency, and the Senates and the Congress and all these other big offices and seats that are for the United States of America.
Young man, you know your shit.
Yeah.
Mr. At Large over
here.
Yeah,
he does.
Because you have to know. Because even
they play a treacherous game.
They play, yes they do. And they do have some power. People overlook it, but you do have power. Look. Yeah, understand that. You too. It's not right. Because if you couldn't tell me your job description, I was gonna cut that mic off, and you was gonna
Oh no, I can let you. I know.
And the same thing with you. We gonna cut that mic off, and we gonna say we be back, and but y'all see, I ain't picked it up not one time. I just moved it out the way because y'all just.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I know my job description, and I know what I'm good at, and I know what I'm not good at. Again, and then that's where you lean on the people that are good in that space, and you need that person on your team. And we talked about that earlier.
Election day is July, because they done changed.
July 19th.
Early voting from July 7th through the 14th.
Okay.
You go to during early voting, you could go to any of the 11 open polls in Maryland.
Okay.
So y'all come, and also make sure you visit my website, rudyD4FORMD.com. Please donate. All my donations are coming from individuals or small businesses.
Right.
I don't need $100,000, $200,000 to win this race, but I do need something.
Exactly.
Right. Absolutely. Same thing. Leigh Bodden forthepeople.com. You can go donate. And again, I say, I do need the money to be able to put out literature, put out signs and things like that. But the currency that I need is votes. Go out and vote, because that's the currency that's going to put me in that seat.
Right.
That you going to have a voice when I'm in that seat. And you could complain to me, but it won't be many complaints, right? Because I hear these complaints. I have these complaints, and I'm going to fight for it. And I'm going to be transparent on what I do and how I go about things, and where I am in the process of things. And in order for me and us to change, you got to vote for me. I'm the only one to vote for Prince George's County Executive. I'm the only one, right? Because if you want a leader that's going to fight for you, I'm that leader. Right. I don't have nothing.
With compassion.
Right, with compassion. And that's really all the words I can give these people. Right, I ain't no politician.
You're going to have more than enough staff and lawyers up there guiding them in the right direction to do the right
things. Because I know what needs to be done. The people know what needs to be done.
That's how they did Alicia Brave Boy.
What they do to...
I mean, hey, I ain't even going to get into it. But somebody guided her. Because she wasn't, like I said, I deal with that type of stuff. I'm an advocate for that shit. So, but it was with the guidance is what got her through. And that everybody ain't know it all.
Right. No,
and that's what I'm saying.
You gotta
with
know
her,
that.
she didn't know it all.
Yeah.
When she got in there, she had great, she had some guidance. That's what I'm saying.
And that's what you need. I mean, good leaders know that. Again, you need somebody that's going to be your captain. You need somebody that's going to be your lieutenant. All these things, right? That's going to help you along the way. You can't know everything. No, you know what I'm saying? You got to know that.
And
as a leader.
The thing with us is because everybody wants to be the one.
Right.
And it takes more than that. And that's why we don't get far too. Because it takes more than one mind.
Exactly.
It takes more. Is like I said, that coalition is what we need. We need a coalition of compassionate people who are they know we live in these situations, okay? You live in these situations. You see it firsthand. You have had the opportunity to come outside of your fucking box to pay attention to what's going on. And you want change, and that's where I'm at now, and that's where a lot of people is at. But like I said, we have to show the world what we have. We have to show PG what we have to offer. Maryland, what we have to offer. I hope I can get y'all back in here.
Please, I mean, again, July 19th, get me here before July 19th, and we just got to keep motivating these people to go out and vote. And word of mouth is going to do it, in my opinion. Like, people just spreading the word. If they listening, if they have listened and hearing what we've been saying, just go out and tell a friend and make that friend tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? That we got somebody different, right? Because a lot of people didn't know that somebody's running against Angela. They just feel like, okay, she's just going to be in. Well, that don't have to happen. And we need change. If we keep talking about change right here in front of your face. You listening to change right now. And so July 19th, you got to make that change. You know what I'm saying? And it's power in the people in politics we address. So we got to address the politics, right? And we got to give the power back to the people. And giving the power back to the people is voting for Leigh Bodden on July 19th.
Don't fight
straight
change,
up.
Lean into it.
That's right. Go ahead. You want to say your last words, Mr. Anthony?
Listen, when I say that it is imperative that we make these changes right now, because in the next 2 years, in the next 4 years, it might be too late. And I hate to sound like the doom and gloom guy, but I've been into this.
You better tell them, because just like I told, because I had people 2017 when we was gearing up for the 2018 mayoral elections in D.C. Okay, I told the people then, y'all gonna look out your window next time if this woman get elected again, and y'all ain't gonna see shit.
They gonna raise your taxes. They gonna pollute your water. The schools will not get better.
Until you move out. Until they get you up out of there.
They gonna gentrify you and make you move to Charles County. If you like it here in Prince George's, you need to vote on July 19th. Leigh Bodden and Rudy Anthony.
That's right, y'all.
We the only ones to vote for.
Yes. This was a good conversation. Like I said, I look forward to having y'all back. I'm talking about soon.
Please.
Next week, I have Dave Grogan coming in.
Yes.
Yes, he is running. Yes, he's running for sheriff, Maryland. Okay, so he'll be in the studio next week. Y'all, thank y'all for the live. I see y'all tuned in on the live. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Make donations, okay? It is very needed. You can make donations through Cash App at Blaq Rose 50. That's all lowercase letters. BLAQROSE and 50. Make your donations, okay? We are going to be back next week. Oh, a couple of things before I get out of here. I'm setting up my event for our fingerprinting kits, okay, out here. I do that every year. Get the fingerprinting kits for the kids. I just got my clearance to get inside of the schools for sex trafficking education. I don't have a curriculum for our elementary school kids yet. I'm working on that. But I do have a curriculum for our high schoolers and middle schoolers.
That's beautiful.
What else? We are going to have the artist, Joey Within Arts. He will be back. We're trying to do something in July before I go to Florida. I will be going to Florida, to Orlando, to participate in a missing persons convention out there. You know, being a vendor out there, taking some information and everything. And I'll see y'all because I'm going to be going through the city. We're filming for the second documentary. We get ready to get heavy into it. And so I look forward to, you know, just vibing with y'all for real. This is going to be a great summer. Things are opening back up. Like I said, look, check it out right here. It's greatness, y'all.
Greatness.
It's greatness. Y'all gonna be seeing more of these fellas, okay? Because I'm trying to get a new co-host and everything. I'm throwing some stuff out there and everything. But anyways, y'all gonna see him soon, okay?
Right.
Love y'all. I'll see y'all next Friday. And be safe and still wear them damn masks, okay? and like I said, the next person that come and ask me why I got my mask, I'm gonna punch you in the throat because I'm tired of you. I'm gonna punch you in the throat because I'm sick of it. Just stay out. The reason why I'm wearing a mask because you in my face asking me why am I wearing a mask.
Right. Everybody's have a choice.
I don't want to be in the hospital. I had COVID and was out. And that shit shut me down. Because I'm doing things. And so that put us at a standstill, you know, for a couple of weeks. Because I was scared to get out there. You know, so y'all, love y'all. Happy Friday. Be safe.
Alright, Ghana, let me tell you a thing. Me know them game and me see them plan. Them heading for total destruction with them poison gas and atomic bomb. It couldn't be right, so we know that's wrong. Them want to destroy the beauty of Japan. About the environment, them don't care a damn. Only thing them care about is them election. Who a go fall from, who a go stand. Leaders of right, let's join hands in hand. Come here, could